Welcome back to Einstein Media Center, your one-stop shop for all unnecessary media dissection. Today I am very sweaty. Okay, so I just got back from a bike ride. I've been trying to make this video for a while. Life, you know. I'm in my backyard. Okay, you've seen the clickbaity title. Review of the new Joyce Manor album by Hater, or whatever I ended up calling it. Spoiler alert, I really don't hate Joyce Manor, but never really been a big fan. Okay, so if you're familiar with this channel at all, if you've watched any of my interviews or seen any of my early videos, you know, like the primary music I cover, post-hardcore, emo, pop punk, that kind of thing. So one of the first videos I made on this album on this channel was about how much I loved Sports by Modern Baseball. That album kind of like changed a lot of the trajectory of music I was listening to at the time. It was probably 2013. It was definitely before You're Gonna Miss It All came out. So, you know, I've been in this kind of music for a while. And Joyce Manor was obviously big back then, or coming up back then. So I knew who they were. I've known who they are. Just a band, and the way I always describe it is kind of a band that's just passed me by. A band I've always expected to like. I've always thought I should like, and a band I never did like. And then I just kept seeing like promo for this album, the shorts and Instagram clips. Oh my god, the little cat in the backyard. Not my backyard, but like behind my backyard. There's a group of cats living under my neighbor's deck. Just ran into the woods. Um, my neighbor actually trapped a few of them, and they're trying to find homes for them. And there's one left, and I just saw him or her. But anyway, a band I always thought I should like, always tried to like. Every album that came out, I would at least give it a listen. And I think a lot of what held me back from their earlier stuff was the production and the mixing on it, which to their credit, is it was very punky. It was very raw. Um, I guess I'm a product of the era I grew up in, with growing up on Blink 182 and Sum 41, definitely more polished bands, or at least more polished mixes. Uh, but then I listen to today's like gent and death metal, and I'm like, bring back Cannibal Corpse circa 1998 and Gorguts from 2001. Those are like the best mixed albums. Anyway, okay, so then like I kept seeing clips, and specifically I kept seeing clips from the music video for "I Used to Go to This Bar," and then I listened to the song, and then I gave the album a listen, and I was like, "I used to go to this bar, great song." The rest of the album was fine, and then I was like, "Man, I want to go back and listen to "I Used to Go to This Bar" again, like the whole album." And then I was like, "Man, I think I want to listen to it again." It's just like I kept wanting to go back to it, and probably at this point it is my most listened to album of the year. I don't know if I want to call it my favorite, but it's definitely up there so far, probably like top two or three. I really love this album. So the things that I really like about it, I think overall much more mature songwriting. I think it's probably the best written songs they've had, and I've went back and listened to their whole discography at this point. Maybe it's just because this is where I came in on, but I think all the songs are way better written, way more mature. And not that you know, a song like Constant Headache, I acknowledge, incredibly well written song. I have a ton of great songs in the back catalog, but I think this is the most consistent all the way through. What else? The production. I loved all of the like additional instruments, like harmonica, I think, and then like the alt folk, alt country inspired guitars on some of the songs, like really cool stuff. And then the mix on it is awesome. I got a new pair of headphones, and I've been using this. I used to go to this bar to like find, when I'm fine tuning the sound settings on the headphones. Um, I think it's a really well mixed track. I think the whole album is really well mixed, and you might say like it's not punk to like this like slick album, this slick punk album, but it's really great. I don't know. It's tickling the itch for me. So yeah, I'm not a hater. I definitely don't. I've definitely learned to appreciate more of their back catalog, but for me, I used to go to this bar is probably my favorite album by Joyce Manor. Um, yeah. So that's that. What else? What else do I want to talk about right now? Not a hater, uh, but I really love this album. Great album. Other stuff I've been listening to. Probably my next favorite thing I've really been listening to is the new EP from Bay Faction. I've been a huge Bay Faction fan for, I don't know, probably 2017, 2018, something like that was when I found them. This new EP is really great. It's cool to see them harken back to their early work. Um, with you know, the Jasper themes and all that stuff, and even the emo sound. But I feel like they also incorporated a little bit more of that post-punky energy they had on Florida Guilt, which I think is also a really great album. Um, the highlights for the new EP, honestly, it's the entire EP is fantastic. Um, Crash is probably my favorite song. I also really appreciate how they reuse the guitar theme on Burn, Crash and Burn. I think that's cool. Um, Am I Warm is a great opener on the EP. Yeah, really been digging it. If you haven't listened to it, definitely go check it out. It's, again, another emo adjacent type band. Good stuff. Okay, what else? The new Koyo album dropped 2 days ago. I was not too crazy about the singles. But I've been really enjoying the album as a whole. A really good, well written crop of songs. I think I need to give it a few more listens to know if I like it better than their first album. When the first album came out, I actually did a video on that. It's probably really poorly done, but I'm sure what I said was smart. What else? What else? But another thing I really like about the Koyo album is the approach to the features. Of course, on the first album, I loved the homage to Long Island. Having all these Long Island vets on as features was really cool for a guy like me. But I really do appreciate the approach, less features and more modern features. Um, and both features were really great, so that was really cool. What else? What else? Not sponsored content, but I love this vest. Oh, I'm thirsty. Anyway, okay. What else I've been listening to? Um, New Cape Crush album came out a week or so ago. Really like that. Um, I did an interview last year with Ali, the singer of Cape Crush, someone who's really cool, really cares about music, really cares about the community. All of that comes through, shines through on this album. I loved Common Delivered as the first single. The ending of that track is beautiful. I think overall, really well written songs, really heartfelt lyrics. I don't care about anything as the opener, and I care too much about everything as the closer. Again, reminding me of a little bit of sports with Redo and Redone by Modern Baseball. So cool stuff. What else? I've been trying to post. Clearly, that has not been working. Life, you know, things, busy, work, etc. But yeah, I might try and do a video like this is like a hater's review of Joyce Manor and other music I've been enjoying. I might try and do a companion video about just other things that aren't music that I've been enjoying. We'll see. We'll see. What else? I'm trying to think if there's any other music I really wanted to talk about. The Resilia album. Yes. Besides being a pop punk and emo shill channel, this is obviously the post hardcore shill channel. The new Resilia album reminds me of a lot of the music that I fell in love with back in 2012, 2013, with the post hardcore genre. Uh, it's really raw, it's really well written, expressive. Um, Great album. If you like, I know if you've watched my channel because of my post hardcore content, you probably already know Resilia. You've probably already listened to the album. Definitely should listen to it if you haven't. Great album, great stuff. Okay, what else? Nope, that was it. That was it. Okay, right on time. 9.5 minutes and some odd seconds. If you've made it this far, thanks. Like, subscribe, and also recommend me other music to listen to. And maybe at some point I will make a better thumbnail. Okay, thank you. Goodbye now.